the screen fades to black. A scratchy, vintage audio recording crackles to life. A deep, raspy voice emerges from the darkness. Just before I died, I went blind, and then I had a hemorrhage, and I fell asleep. And I died in the chair in the corner downstairs. The voice you just heard did not come from an old man. It came from the throat of an 11-year-old girl named Janet Hodgson. This is a real audio recording from the Enfield Poltergeist case of 1977. One of the most terrifying and thoroughly documented hauntings of all time. This story will challenge everything you believe about the supernatural world. It all began in August 1977. Peggy Hodgson, a single mother, called the police in a panic. Her two daughters, Janet and Margaret, were screaming as furniture in their bedroom moved on its own. A heavy chest of drawers had slid across the room. A female police constable arrived on the scene and witnessed a chair move by itself. She signed a sworn affidavit. This was not imagination. The modest council house in Enfield, London, became the epicenter of a paranormal nightmare that would captivate the nation. As night fell, the Hodgson family huddled together, their eyes wide with fear as they listened to the inexplicable sounds echoing through their home. Knocks reverberated through the walls, growing louder and more insistent. Objects flew across rooms as if hurled by invisible hands. The paranormal activity quickly escalated with violent intensity, and it seemed to center on young Janet. She was thrown from her bed, levitated through the air, and began to speak in a voice that was not her own. The entity identified itself as Bill Wilkins, a man who had died in the house years earlier. His deep, gruff voice was recorded for hours on end, a chilling audio testament to a presence from beyond the grave. Paranormal investigator Maurice Grass arrived at the house, his equipment in tow. As he set up his audio recorders, the atmosphere grew thick with tension. Suddenly, Janet's body went rigid, her eyes rolling back in her head. The voice of Bill Wilkins erupted from her small frame, filling the room with its menacing presence. "Get out," the voice growled. "This is my house." The investigators exchanged nervous glances as Janet's body thrashed about, seemingly possessed by an unseen force. The audio tapes captured every terrifying moment, preserving the otherworldly encounter for posterity. As the days turned into weeks, the phenomena grew more intense. Janet was repeatedly thrown from her bed by an unseen force, her body sailing through the air as if weightless. The family cowered in fear as furniture moved of its own accord, drawers opening and slamming shut with violent force. The case captured the attention of all of Britain. Photographers captured incredible moments, showing Janet seemingly being thrown across her room. The images were stark and unsettling. A young girl suspended in midair, her face contorted in a mixture of fear and something else entirely. These photos would become some of the most controversial pieces of evidence in paranormal history. But as the media frenzy grew, so did the skepticism. Some investigators set up a secret camera and discovered Janet bending spoons and trying to fake phenomena. She herself later admitted to testing the investigators a few times to see if they'd catch her. This raised the biggest question of all. Was the entire case an elaborate hoax by two clever children? The revelation sent shockwaves through the paranormal community. Critics pointed to the video of Janet bending spoons as proof that the entire case was a fraud. Yet those who had witnessed the most intense phenomena remained convinced that something truly supernatural was at work in the Enfield house. So was the entire case an elaborate hoax by two clever children? Or was it a genuine supernatural phenomenon interspersed with childish pranks? The lead investigators, Maurice Grass and Guy Lyon Playfair, believed that around 98% of the phenomena were real. They argued that the sheer volume and intensity of the activity could not be explained away by trickery alone. Ed and Lorraine Warren, the famous American demonologists, also investigated the case. They arrived at the Enfield house with their crucifixes and holy water, prepared for a confrontation with dark forces. As they conducted their investigation, a metal crucifix began to bend and twist of its own accord, a sight that left even the seasoned paranormal investigators shaken. The Warrens concluded that the family was being terrorized by an inhuman entity, a demon. They believed the voice of Bill Wilkins was just one of the many masks the demon used to manipulate and terrify the family. In their view, the occasional instances of trickery by the children were a natural response to the intense scrutiny they were under, not evidence that the entire case was fraudulent. As the investigation wore on, the lines between reality and deception became increasingly blurred. Janet's voice on the audio tapes continued to defy explanation. How could a young girl produce such a deep, masculine voice without any visible strain or effort? Experts in vocal phenomena were baffled, unable to provide a satisfactory explanation for the recordings. The Enfield case became a battleground between believers and skeptics. For every piece of compelling evidence, there seemed to be a counter-argument or a potential explanation. Yet the sheer volume of unexplained phenomena left many convinced that something truly paranormal had occurred in that modest council house. As the months passed, the activity in the Enfield house gradually subsided. Janet and her siblings grew older, and the media attention slowly faded. But the questions surrounding the case remained, haunting those who had been involved like persistent ghosts. Years later, Janet Hodgson would reflect on her experiences with a mixture of uncertainty and lingering fear. "I know there were times when I deliberately messed about," she admitted in a rare interview. "I was an attention-seeking child. But then again, how could I have produced that voice? It still scares me to think about it." The Enfield Poltergeist case never reached a clear conclusion. It will forever remain a complex mixture of undeniable evidence, reasonable skepticism, and a family's sheer terror. Was it a hoax that went too far? Or one of the most direct confrontations with the other side ever recorded? As we ponder these questions, we're left with the chilling reality of those audio tapes. The deep, raspy voice of Bill Wilkins, emanating from the throat of an 11-year-old girl, continues to send shivers down the spines of those who listen. Whatever you believe, that voice ... was real. The final image lingers on the screen. A photo of Janet, her eyes looking tired and frightened, bearing the weight of an experience that would shape the rest of her life. The Enfield house stands silent today, its ordinary facade belying the extraordinary events that unfolded within its walls. As the screen fades to black, we're left to wonder. In the battle between the natural and the supernatural, where does the truth truly lie?